Samyukti. An Eternal Manifestation Guide by Shubhang Sharavat. This is the first chapter of the audiobook. Introduction. On a sunny day, a sage, sitting on a dark rock, was meditating under the scorching sun. His throat was dry, his body was cripplingly thin to a point that all of his ribs were about to pop out of his skin and shrunken muscles were all bones. Of course, because he was following severe austerities for self-realization, he hadn't consumed anything for several weeks. Just a few moments before he was about to die from a heat stroke, an intention arose within him. He caught a glimpse of something. A few moments passed away. Some snails, leaving their moist hides, started crawling all over his robe. 108 snails covered his head, forming a crown of shells. It is true that snails' body have natural moisturizers, but the sage didn't know that. The sage was saved from death, but all the snails died from dehydration. These 108 snails didn't end up dying on his head by some accident. It was a force that led them there. A force that you have known but chosen to ignore. The sage's name was Gautama Siddhartha, now most commonly known as the Buddha. No life can evade this force because it is as rigid as gravity, as physical as existence, and as massive as the universe itself, because it is the universe. This power is your birthright. This power is yours to keep, no matter who you are, where you are, or what you do with it. This power is mechanical in nature and is also the source of creation. Creation is a manifestation of this law. Every little detail in the universe is designed upon this law. It is time we realize this law to its fullest degree and use it to our aid in creating everything we want. This book will unveil an entire universe of possibilities for you. Every practice is designed from the knowledge and geometry of the human body and the universal consciousness. Law of attraction is a law that governs what you are experiencing right now. Look at your surroundings. Every single corner of this place is your creation. You may not and don't have to understand this now. If you have come across this law by accident or even through conscious effort, you are worthy to receive it. Because you already have. I have shared the secret with many people, but upon introspection, this law is very personal. Of course, I understand that it can be frightening to realize that one is already creating everything they desire or fear, for it does bring great responsibility on the individual. If you are reading this, you are worthy to master this law. From the ant taking a wrong route and ending up on your sleeve to that unknown force fulfilling your wish in the most uncertain way, even when you didn't think you manifested it right. None of it happened by accident. I believe you might have already noticed how crazy things happen when you start observing every event around you. It becomes so difficult to ignore how the universe brings up things on the most unexpected and uncertain times. I believe in you, I have absolute faith in you, I will follow your every command, if you let me. Sometimes, I have to make you go through things that are painful to witness, so that in those very moments when you surrender to me ever so slightly, I find an opening to work through you. Because only during those times of surrender, you open yourself up to me. The universe. The expression of this law can be seen in every atom. Look at the blades of the grass. The rainy season comes every year to nourish and grow the trees who longed for expansion, although physical expansion is the only choice they can have. Any ecosystem in nature cannot function without this law at work. Humans wouldn't have created this huge establishment without this law at work. This law states that everything expands through awareness. Even the awareness of empty space is a manifestation of this law. Gravity, which is a manifestation of time-space, always attracts. This law is working on physical, psychological, vibrational, and all other levels of creation. If you observe deeply, every person is longing for expansion. A person always wants a higher pay, a dog always wants more food, a camel always stores up extra fat in its hump. It is unfortunate that only we humans can know and choose between wanting something and having something. So, potentially we humans can already have everything we want, first in our minds and then in reality. In fact, to make this possibility more comprehensible, everything you want is already waiting for you on the other side of the door of your room. You just have to stop wanting and start receiving it. Here, anything and everything is possible. You don't need to know how. You just need to know. The physical design and the energetic structure of this universe is built in such a way that nothing is impossible here. But only the things that are outside the domain of our own minds. This is because something that is coming from nowhere and built out of nothing, cannot be a certain way. You can consciously decide what you want. How to get the most out of this book. I have prepared this book for those who seek to master and fully apply the principles of the law of attraction in every aspect of their lives. Each part of this book explores one aspect to master the law to its fullest. All the aspects are just as important as any other. These aspects are simple ways that can take you on a journey and not simply give out the methods, which is why I've decided to release this book mainly to implant the practical knowledge in your mind rather than inspiring and positive talking, although you'll find them here and there. Give yourself some time while working with each chapter. Do not try to understand everything at once because that might create too much psychological friction. This one step at a time methodology is essential to obtain mastery. Just upon mastering one aspect of Loa you may see dramatic results in the application of Loa, but it also depends on who you are and how you are. The book is mainly focused at the following three aspects. The body includes every subtle aspect of how you must conduct your body to prepare it and turn it into a vessel for the co-creator. Mind and emotion, gaining control over mental patterns. How to organize your mind and turn it into an instrument for manifestation. Consciousness, understanding energy systems. A little bit of context before we dig in. Every little material possession that you have is a figment of energy. If we want to manifest the things we desire, it becomes essential to understand the fundamental nature of energy and how it can be transformed. To understand energy, we must know energy by its fundamental nature. There are different subtle forms of energies that we experience in our day-to-day lives. We can say that, everything that we experience as an individual is energy. These things include the cup you drink your coffee in, your body, your thoughts, emotional involvement in something. Everything. These things are different manifestations of energy. In different scriptures this energy is called by different names. Some call this energy Shakti, some call it Kundalini, some call it Chi or Chi etc. In an inclusive sense, even quantum mechanics claim that everything is energy, vibrating at very high speed. The property of an atom is determined by the frequency of these vibrations. This is the physical aspect of energy that we see in our experience, but energy is not limited to just physical forms. A desire is also a form of unmanifested energy. A desire is like a seed that has been sown in the universe. The problem with many people is that they continue to sow similar seeds several times and wait for one to spur. One must learn how to nourish the seed. Nourishment of the seed needs some form of energy. Energy has no intentions or desires of its own, it is pure consciousness that gives form to energy. Your failure, or even the pebble sitting next to you, can direct you towards the fulfillment of your desires, because they are also a form of energy. The pure consciousness in contemporary times can be termed as pure being, time-space or the fabric of this universe. This consciousness carries energy and give it a certain form. If you have lots of energy and you don't direct it anywhere, you will cause psychological and even physical ailments in your body. This happens because the mind and the body goes in all directions. Unmanifested energy can be useful only if you know how to direct it. Manifested energy can also be transformed or redirected into achieving something, but its possibilities are limited. To understand this better, let's consider the following example. You have a desire to earn $20 today. This desire is an unmanifested form of energy. Actually, all desires are unmanifested forms of energy. Desires are like a seed. This seed will eventually grow into a plant and bear its fruit, which is the fulfillment of your desire. Now, let's say that you have a desire to earn $20 by selling leftover potatoes at your home. Now potatoes are manifested forms of energy. The idea to exchange potatoes for money is also a manifested form of energy. But this energy is not invested in the results of having $20 but in the activity to earn $20. This means the fruit of this activity is selling potatoes and making $20 from it. This activity is directed towards earning $20. Trying to earn $20 says to the universe that you don't already have it. This means you may, or may not, fail to earn $20 by selling some potatoes. You will continue to do the activity of trying to sell potatoes because you manifested the desire, or seed, in that way. This is the reason why you must put the energies in the right direction. So, now if you manifest the energy and dwell in the end result of your visualization of already having $20, you don't even have to think about how to get it because you already have it. Now, those $20 will manifest. This is the reason why experts say that you must dwell in the end results of your manifestation. When you want to master this power, clarity becomes essential to see where you are and where you want to go. Clarity comes from observation, not analysis. Clarity is when you start to watch your thought patterns and see where they are going without getting involved in them. This process of thought observation tells you where you actually are on your journey. The thoughts that you are having right now are also a form of manifested energy. Energy expands over time, which means a focused mind is more powerful manifester than a mind that goes in all directions. You might know that visualizing your desires before you go to sleep and right after waking up is the best practice to influence the subconscious mind. This happens because during the time of sleep, when awareness is minimal, it is not absent, just unnoticeable. During this time, a lot of unmanifested energy is developed inside the mind. And the minimal energy being manifested by minimal awareness is solely directed towards the visualization that you had right before going to sleep. This directs one's energy in the direction of already having everything he desires. Now, can you imagine what results, having a mind with full awareness yet visualizing the end result and then going absolutely silent, would create? A ton of unmanifested energy will be created. And that energy will transform itself into its physical equivalent. This powerful technique will be discussed in greater depth in later chapters. You might have noticed that when you eat too much you feel lethargic, your body expands from places you don't want, and for some the mind goes into guilt and grief. All the things that you are suffering in the moment can be directed towards your success through consciousness. Manifested energy cannot be neglected or discarded, it can only be transformed. The relationship between consciousness and energy will be explained later in greater depth. Do you know why humans are the most powerful creatures on the planet? Because we are conscious beings. You know, consciousness is the only thing that gives form to energy. Let's imagine a universe without time-space. Time-space is the fabric of our universe. This fabric causes our universe to happen. Without this fabric, energy will exist as infinity, formlessly prevailing through everything or nothing. Similarly, we humans have the capability to give form to energy. The more conscious we become, the more precise this form gets and the more powerful our manifestations become. So, in order to energize our manifestations, we must focus on these two aspects. 1. Raising the energy in our body. 2. Raising consciousness. Both of these things are possible through eating the right foods, that raise energy in the body, and practicing classical yoga, which develops control and integrity over energy. Beware that classical hatha yoga is different from Western yoga. Classical hatha yoga is a method through which you allow the universe to function through you. In a way, you are allowing the universe to take over your body and work with you. The fundamental meaning of yoga is union, which means becoming one with the universe or infinite intelligence. This state of being is also considered as coherence by some experts. There are certain poses that one must do in the right sequence in order to experience samadhi, which is a state of absolute absorption. Where does this absolute absorption happens? Absolute absorption means dissolving in infinity or pure consciousness or infinite intelligence. One must experience the state before comprehending it to its fullest degree. The last thought before tapping into the state that occurred in your mind will happen depending upon the intensity of your visualization. These yogic poses will silence your scattered mind and give you an opportunity to produce laser-focused thoughts for a time period. This means your emotional involvement and thoughts, energies, will get laser-focused at the thing you do want in your life. Once this is achieved, there is no barrier to what you can manifest. It is necessary to know what you want and remain focused on just one thing at a time. So, you must know or write somewhere, whatever you want before beginning the practice. Also, you must not have any food in your digestive system during the practice. This is essential. There are some rules that you must follow to not cause sabotage when practicing yoga. In yoga, even subtle things must be handled properly, otherwise you'd be directing your thought missile in the wrong direction, if not consciously, then on a subconscious level. Here are some rules that you must follow before practicing classical yoga. Never compromise on these. Digestive tracts must be clean and empty. Physical purity is a must. Extraordinary hygiene. Light and loose cloths. Let's go over each one of these separately. Every little thing matters when you are playing with subtle and physical energies and other dimensions of the universe, body, thoughts, emotion, and consciousness. The foods we eat create friction in our body. Anything that is put inside the digestive tract creates friction. The question is, how much friction does it create? This friction affects our thoughts, emotions, and energies. These rules are necessary because they help remove all the things that affect your energies in some way. The friction, stillness, the material of cloth, everything affects your thoughts, emotions, and energies. Just that this act is so subtle that it is often ignored by a loud mind. Mystics like Patanjali, Swami Vivekananda, Agasthyamuni and other geniuses bestowed this knowledge upon us. It's time we put these things into practice and benefit from them. Physical purity, absolute hygiene. As I said earlier, that every subtle aspect matters when we are working with energies. Purity is essential to keep the mind in a positive state or higher vibration. If you ever have, you know how it feels on the day when you didn't take a shower compared to the day you took a shower and went to work. There is a subtle difference in how you feel. Have you noticed it? Not just showering but cleaning yourself in the right way with the right things is essential. To wash up the lower frequencies from you, and put you in a higher frequency using just soap, face wash, and shampoo isn't enough. These things surely clean your physical body but don't clean your energy body. Fortunately, salt is a feasible energy absorbent. Salt absorbs the energy of its environment, which is why it is used in many homes as a salt crystal lamp. You can use 1/3 cup of salt every once in a while to bath, or if you live near a beach, sea salt would do the job too. Just remember that use a place that is not populated with people. Salt surely is a great aid to feel higher vibration, but not essential. We must use every possible thing to raise our vibration in the moment. You must fold your cloths properly and wear well-cleaned cloths before yoga. Keep your environment clean and simple, not cluttery. If possible, try to make the environment look as beautiful and organized as you can. Light a candle, play a positive background music. Not party, alcoholic, drug music. Play something light or jolly like instrumental or classical. It is all about feeling good to your core. You know that you have a choice over how you feel all day. Be happy, be grateful, and joyful, no matter what you do. If someone makes you feel lower than your high, do not indulge with them. When you become sensitive to energies around you, you want to keep everything in order. You realize that every little thing, from the TV show you watched last night to the color of cup you drank your coffee in, everything affects you in some way. Let's understand the basics and fundamentals of the creation we call universe. This is the end of the chapter. The next chapter will be released next week Friday. Make sure you get notified when it comes out. The link to the Kindle and paperback edition of the book is in the description.